If you have a multidimensional or nested array, you can use nested for loops to access all the array elements. So for instance, we have this multiply all function. It's defined up here, but we're calling it here and we're passing in this multidimensional array, which is basically an array with arrays inside the array. So inside the first array, there are three elements. 1, 2, 3. And you can see each of those elements are an array with their own set of elements. So we're going to use nested for loops within this multiply all function to multiply every number in these nested arrays here. So let's get started. We're going to start with a for loop. And it's going to look just like the other for loops that we've started. I equals 0. We're going to initialize I to 0. And then we're going to say while I is less than r.length. And then we're just going to increment I at the end of each iteration. Now, r.length, that's going to start off as 3 because we're passing in this array, and the first level of the array, there's just 1, 2, 3 elements. So that's going to be 3. But now we're going to go inside this for loop and create another for loop. So we're going to do var j equals 0. Normally it's standard practice to call the variable that we're incrementing I, but we already have an I within this scope. So we need to create another name, and it's pretty standard to call the next variable j because j is after I. So now we're going to do j while j is less than. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to do while a is less than r index I dot length. Also, we're going to increment j here. So this is going to change. So first, the first iteration of this outer for loop, we're looking at the length of this array. Then we're looking at the length of this array. Then we're looking at the length of this array. The index is going to be different every time, so we're going to be going to each different array inside the nested array. So at this point, we just have to multiply all the numbers together. So we already have the product that we've defined above. So we're going to do product times equals, which is just going to multiply everything together. And we're going to do r I j. So the I references the outer array, and the j references the inner array within the what we're passing in. And now we're done. So we have the console.log here. So let's run this and see what happens. And 5040.